liberty and justice for all.
All right, please sign in.
Yeah, we might have to re-sign in when it comes. We have 4 members present, Your Honor.
All right, any changes to the agenda, Ryan?
Not a change to the agenda per se, but I'll note that item 4T1, Proclamation Underground Railroad Month, will be read so that we can present that to the Historical Society representative here.
Okay, that'd be great. After we approve it, I'll read it and then we'll present it.
Mr. Mayor, could I just interrupt? We would like to defer item 4F as well.
Which one?
4F 1 and 2
4F 1 and 2.
to September 20th.
Okay, so the motion would be to approve the agenda as amended by deferring item 4F 1 and 2 to the September 20th council meeting.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Four yes.
Item 2 is citizens forum, which is a time for anyone in the audience who would like to address the city council on any item that's not part of public hearings. Item 6, new business. Item 7, or any current litigation.
Can I go from here?
The podium.
Podium.
Yep.
How do you show down? Yeah. Troy Zlesnik, 2512 Meadow Lane, here on behalf of myself and my neighbors. And how can I show pictures?
We can turn on the dock cam.
Okay. This will be, I want to talk a little bit very quickly about corner of 27th and Meadow Lane. Got some pictures here of the current state, top picture, and the previous state. That's just one of 4 pictures, and I've got 4 sheets here to go through very quickly so that you can all get an idea of what we're currently presented with in my neighborhood with regard to what it used to look like on this corner, I'm sorry, and what it currently looks like at this corner.
Troy, have you shared this with anybody at the city staff before tonight?
Many times.
Okay, and who would that be and how often?
Excuse me?
Who would that be and how often?
I cannot speak for Blanche, who I know has been in contact with Russ. Russ has been out to the site. There's also, I believe, some non-conforming trees on the site.
Okay, and how long ago would you have first raised the issue?
Probably at the beginning of the summer. Would I have raised it?
It's been a couple months ago. I was out there and talked to Troy and talked to Blanche Reardon at the time, and I also contacted our engineering department and had them come and take a look at it as well. And I think, Troy, you went back and forth with, I want to say, was it Clint that you talked to, or Clint took a look
I have
at?
gotten no communications from staff on this.
Oh,
So I just have really one question.
okay.
And this is, I think that this is probably the primary picture that I want to ask a question against. Does this property conform to, I'll leave my notes. Does this property conform to the city ordinance 442, nuisances and weeds, notwithstanding the non-conforming trees that I believe are growing? And I think that's all that really a citizen has to go on, is what the ordinance are and what we see here. Now, if this complies, then, so be it. It is what it is, and this is what we live with.
Is that the convenience store on Vine?
Yeah.
Is this part of that convenience store site, or is this a separate parcel?
No, this is a separate parcel owned by the city.
Okay.
And I believe the fence is probably also city-owned all the way around 3 sides. But I'm not too sure about the
Okay.
interface. So that's what I'd like to hear about, is this is comply. Because it certainly is starting to be, and this is only, by the way, after I believe 2 years of basically neglect. And you can see how tall those trees are already.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get, Tom, I'm not sure who you want to address these issues, but we need to make sure that we're governed by the same rules everybody else is.
I've got an email here that says that, from Brian Hemseth, that talks about Brett is committed to working on the weeds. So, okay, well, we just have to circle back with Brett and have him get out there again. Maybe it's something he planned to do and just didn't get around to it.
Yep.
So that is July 15th. There was multiple issues that Troy had out there. One was the design of the culvert, and then another one was with the weeds. And Brian looked into the design of the culvert, and the way it was designed was based on engineering specs, and that's staying as is. And then, the email says that Brett was going to come and take a look at it and deal with the weeds. So this is the first that I've heard that hasn't happened. So.
We like to be quiet and not raise too much. I will have to say that I commend somebody on city staff for finally coming out and removing the derecho trees that had fallen on the other side, which is the same city property. Well, not the same, but the other side of the street. So that had finally gotten taken care of, which was nice to have that finally taken out. It seems to have come to a standstill since then.
Okay, Brett?
Okay, thank you.
Brett Hodney, Public Services Director. As you can see from the photos, originally it was kind of a grass area. There was some reconstruction of the drainage channel there with the gabion baskets. How the trees started growing there, I'm not exactly sure, but these aren't really weeds, they're trees. And what kind of comes into question is, I know what it looked like before. It's a drainage channel area, and we've had a lot of discussion about how drainage channels are going to be maintained. So I think what we need to do is look at the tree growth and find out if we want to remove those trees and have it go back to a turf type condition again. So our main concern, of course, is the hydraulic capacity of the drainage channel, making sure we don't have trees and stuff growing down in there. But the adjacent area there, we'll have to take a look at the trees and find out if we need to actually go in and do a removal and get it back to a grass state. So we'll look at that internally as staff and make a decision, so.
Okay, and you'll look at any of the other issues there, Brett, just to make sure that the site's in compliance with anything else that may apply to it?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
We have
I
a
think there was an
contractor
issue.
that actually does the mowing in this area, and we put them on notice, and they did go back and do some work there, but we may have to see how they're performing and making sure that they're meeting the terms of what we're looking for in the contract, so.
Well, I think there were just several issues out there, and one of them was just weeds that were making their way towards that home. And, maybe we took care of that, but still have some other issues.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth on the trees, the Villages of Ponderosa, every year or two, they come in their basin and cut all the trees out.
Yeah.
I mean, they just recently did that a month ago. So for whatever reason, they think that's important for them to do.
Right. Well, in some of these areas like this too, like I said, we're mainly concerned about making sure we don't have any hydraulic restrictions that would do
Yeah.
flooding, but some of the aesthetics, we'll look into that as well.
Well, and I would think tree roots might grow into your utilities.
Yeah, so.
We talk about that.
Yep.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
All right, anyone else for citizens forum?
Thank you, Troy.
Okay. Seeing no one else, we'll move on to mayor, council, city manager reports. Matt?
Yep, thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, we had a good, productive development planning meeting this morning. We spent a lot of time relative to the development up there along Ashworth and Jordan Creek Parkway, the multi-use development where the restaurant and multi-residential is going in. In short, they had some parking issues. It sounds like we found a resolution to the length of these parking stalls, but it brought up a bigger point, and that is, and we approved it on our consent agenda tonight, and it related to the work that's being done relative to the historic Valley Junction Master Plan, and the steering committee, and the parking analysis that'll be undertaken. Right now in the city of West Des Moines, we have a requirement that stalls need to be 19 feet long, for example. City of Des Moines says 17 feet. And this applicant was at 18 feet. So I think we found a resolution this morning, but it highlighted kind of the conversation we were having generally about parking in our community and specifically relative to Valley Junction. So that was one item. The second item related to the restrooms that are being planned down there in Valley Junction, right at the entrance. And, I know that this is something that, folks want to move forward pretty quickly, and I can appreciate the need for that. But at the same time, we're also telling the private sector that if you're going to be building a structure or knocking down a structure or materially changing a structure, you need to go through a process. And so this morning we talked about the need to, the city, similar to your comment a little while ago, we need to treat ourselves the same as we do other folks, and the same is true here. And so we suggested that this restroom project go through that same sort of process that other I think F&A recently had a
I was
project.
going to touch on that too. Yeah.
And so that's the way we directed it. I understand that the moratorium is still in place, but it's likely to expire by the time or prior to the time that we get the contract and, or I should say, the recommendations back as a result of this RFP that we approved tonight. So that's something I think we're going to have to address a little bit longer term. But long story short, we had a productive meeting. I think all things are moving forward. We just have to kind of follow the process we're telling the private sector to follow. So, thank you.
We've been talking about restrooms down there for decades. I don't think anyone's going to object to nice restrooms in Railroad Park.
Absolutely.
So whatever we have to do to speed up that approval process, we should.
Boy,
Okay.
sentiments accepted.
Kevin?
Yeah, I want to mention that this Saturday, September 11th, from 10:30 to noon at 217 Fifth Street is going to be my Ward 1 Town Hall meeting. Anyone is invited to come to that. It's kind of a question and answer period. Talk about what's on your mind with city-related business, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. So.
Okay, Russ?
So picking up where Councilman McKinney left off, at Finance Administration, we had some discussion about the economic development projects and kind of the activity down in Valley Junction. In light of the moratorium that's down there, we've got several people down there that are itching to get their projects moving. And one of the projects in particular, I really don't think would be too objectionable down there. And, you know, in light of the fact that the moratorium, it sounds like we're trying to make sure that this committee is meeting, and they're meeting on a regular basis, and we're moving down the road. We don't want to stall out economic development down there, but the committee's got important work to do. But there's also important projects that are looking at going on down there that people want to get moving. So, you know, in good faith, what we suggested was, you know, having people that want to move forward, that think they have a project that the people won't really object to bring it to this committee. It's kind of unusual because it's kind of it's not a permanent committee. But to bring their project through this committee for discussion, for consideration, have this committee have their say in this, and if it's not objected to through that committee process, then bring it forward through the council for approval. That was really the only fair way that we could figure out how to continue to move things down the road without really poking this committee and without rushing something through that people don't want. So that was our suggestion. I'd suggest that we take the Trevilian Pavilion through that process as well and get that. We've been joking about this bathroom and naming it after Kevin forever, but anyway, but I'd suggest we take that through the same process, bring that through the committee, and, you know, if the committee objects to it, doesn't like it, fine. It's done until we work through the process, but otherwise it moves forward and we continue to go on. We also had discussion in F&A of these economic development districts. It's on the agenda for tonight. We were kind of surprised to learn that we weren't a part of one of these districts, and not being a part of one of these districts makes it such that we are not able to receive funds from the federal government for different economic development projects. So I'm glad that we're moving forward with this tonight, and going to make ourselves eligible to at least receive this federal money. We're going to put all the different projects on there that we think make sense to do so, and that'll be a good thing.
I'll tell you the reason, because this came through the MPO. Years ago,
okay.
there was a contingent on the MPO that felt like an economic development district was going to lead to a COG, and they didn't want a COG, so they didn't want an economic development district. So
Okay.
that's the reason.
Well, and COGs typically represent more rural areas of the state, so that seems like kind of a weird thing to fear. But, okay, well, thank you for that institutional knowledge.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
It's a trivia question.
The Public Safety Subcommittee met as well. We talked about several different things. Westcom is looking at using the old Public Services facility. 911 funds will be used for this facility, and this will literally be a backup facility for Westcom. So they're exploring that possibility. We've also been getting requests, a few requests from some families for a waiver of ambulance fees. The current code says that council has to approve these waivers. We're looking at changing that process. So number one, it doesn't come to the council because that doesn't seem right. It seems like it should be an administrative deal. And also, I think we're looking at having a discussion with EMS and Human Services combined to have some sort of charity care. A lot of other cities have some charity care, and we really don't have that established yet. So they're going to be working on that. We had a discussion about the fireworks. A lot of people that I've talked to love the fireworks being done out here on City School campus. They love the new facility. Parks and Rec, Sally did hear from 9 different people that had some feedback in some regard. 3 wanted it back at Raccoon River Park. They just liked it that way. 1 just wanted it the heck out of City School campus. They don't care where else it goes. But 5 wanted it to stay on City School campus. And so, based on some, I don't say data, but information that Sally presented, I mean, the parking is better on city campus. We've got 1,400 paved spaces. Raccoon River Park, they have to park on the grass. It takes 20 police with 14 people working traffic to help with parking at Raccoon River. The cops don't really have to worry about that same thing at city campus. And EMS is able to cover city campus with only 1 ambulance, and so it's easier access in and out. So our recommendation is to continue to keep it here on City School campus going forward for fireworks.
I've heard from a lot of people that actually can see it here from their home.
Yeah,
Where there's not a lot of people that can see it if it happens at
Right.
Raccoon River Park. So there's a lot of people that don't drive to watch because they can literally watch it from their house.
yeah, I think it's like I said, the feedback I've gotten on it, people really seem to enjoy it here, so. National Guard, fire station, joint effort there south of the river. Legal's working on a 2080 agreement. Questions came up as to the standards that apply when the facility is being built, if we can hold them to city standards or if the federal government trumps city standards. And so we're kind of working through this on the 2080. And West Pet, a lot of information we are covering on this Public Safety Subcommittee. West Pet has been an issue from the get-go. I mean, we have this partnership with Urbandale and Clive, and it really has been bumpy, since the get-go. With the cities, we're wanting to make sure that we've got all of our costs covered and that we've got a fair deal with them. And they're looking at this and thinking they're kind of getting the short end of the stick. They want our officers to do some more of the kind of legal, enforcement type stuff, barking dogs and knocking on people's doors and all kinds of stuff that we really never intended to do in the first place. And so we're kind of working through that with them, trying to figure out where we're going to be on West Pet, if we're going to go it alone and those 2 cities can do their own thing or what we're going to do with that. So that's kind of a work in progress.
Russ, I can tell you that those cities don't want to lose it. So what we're going to do is the managers and chiefs of the respective communities are going to get together, and Jody Hayes has outlined what we would do to keep this going. What's our definition of what the level of service are. We'll meet them, we'll bring it back to you. But I know they really are interested in keeping it, but it has to be, I think, terms will work for everybody.
Yeah. It's, like I said, I've been involved with this from the get-go, and it's been a little bit bumpy, and with those other cities being kind of critical in the way that we are administering this thing, and, them not wanting to pay to receive the services they're receiving. And frankly, as a city councilman, I'm sitting here saying I'd love to continue to do a joint partnership with these guys, but if it's too much for them, then maybe we need to go our own way. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they come up with a good resolution to that. There are several other items that were covered, but you know what? In the interest of time, I'll stop there.
Okay.
So,
Greg?
I think he used your time.
He did. I just have one thing.
If you could yield your time to me, Greg?
Actually, yeah, rest,
Like three,
keep
four
going.
more items?
man.
All right, no, go ahead.
Just wanted to congratulate Brett and his team on an excellent grand opening of the new public service facility down off 88th. What a fantastic facility, and hope you all continue to enjoy it for many years to come. So congratulations.
Couldn't agree more, and road use tax funds were paid for that entire facility, correct? Instead of property taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
Great deal.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to share just, I won't repeat what happened this morning. I was in the same meeting as Councilman McKinney and rehashing and talking about the issues that were important. There was an issue that came up with the partnership with the West Moines Schools, who's doing an expansion to allow for students to learn the trades and to learn the kinds of things that they can come out and have skills and get out there and get a job and maybe not have to go to college. So excited for that. So there was some issues regarding whether or not there would be excessive amount of noise. I do appreciate folks trying to be proactive, but I am full support of this school expansion and allowing for our students to learn trades that I think are going to be so necessary. But we are going to put some language in there that if noise is excessive and whatnot, and signs are indicating right now that it won't be, based on some of the information that we got. But we'll be mindful of that. But I'm extremely supportive of the direction the West Des Moines School District is going with this new programming. I think it's so incredibly exciting. Several other things. I do want to, and I don't know whether Audrey Kinnis is here or not, or whether she's on the call, but she is the West Des Moines' first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Director. This is new for the city of West Des Moines and progress. And so I'm extremely pleased that we have gotten that. So thank you, Tom, for your leadership and Jane Dodge's leadership. And I know that Councilman Hudson and I sat in on the finalist interviews, and it was some wonderful choices. But we felt that we've got the great candidate there. So I hope that everyone will lend their support to this significant position that will move the needle for the city of West Des Moines. Speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I also want to highlight always the opportunity that we experienced last week, and I want to give some kudos to Catherine Harrington, CEO of the West Des Moines Chamber, for putting on the first inaugural event highlighting diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives going on in our city. And it was a phenomenal, phenomenal event, really highlighting such great work that's being done by nonprofits and businesses and individuals and educators and schools and whatnot. So I just want to say that this collective work of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I'm sure everybody shares this on the dais, is really a collective effort of all of us pulling together. But Catherine is certainly doing her fair share of lifting this work up in this community and shining a greater light on it. And I do appreciate your video, Mayor, that was shown at the event in terms of your commitment and the city leadership commitment to it. So that was played, and that was very nice, so thank you. But Catherine, our hat goes off to you for such a phenomenal event. And my call to action is that I hope that we'll see many more of our city leaders attend that event, participate in that event, be nominated for that event for good works and good deeds that they're doing in this space. And then I want to give a shout out to a festival that happened in Taste of the Junction on Saturday. That is a historic area for all of us, and there was a celebration. I was not able to be there. I was in Chicago celebrating my 21st birthday. And so, but I did see lots of pictures and whatnot. It seemed like the festival went well. And so I do want to congratulate Rochelle Long for her long tradition of having a festival in the Taste of the Junction that brought people to the Junction. Hopefully people learned more about the Junction and the historical nature of the Junction, and it's those kinds of events that help us keep elevating what goes on in the Junction. So I was proud to see it from afar. That concludes my remarks, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Tom?
Yeah, tonight I'm going to have Clyde speak to the questions brought up, the mayor asking where we at on the corridor study on University, the joint project with Clive, West Des Moines, and that area that we're where Valley West Mall is and some other challenges are. So Clyde.
Okay. Mayor, members of council, Clyde Evans, Community and Economic Development Director. Here's where we're at in the process. We have a draft plan review session coming up with the advisory committee that is the steering committee that's made up of representatives from West Des Moines, Clyde, coming up September 22nd. Then they're looking at having a joint P&Z City Council meeting October 4th. That's what they're looking at right now. Then the week of October 11th, there will be a follow-up with the shareholders to talk to them about where we're at with the plan and get any additional input that they have. And then there is a plan for October 20th to do a draft plan open house to invite people to come in and give comments to the consultant on the plan. And then the final draft of the plan would be scheduled for review by the advisory committee on November 3rd. And then we'd be looking at Plan and Zoning Commission meeting on November 8th, and then City Council hearing on November 15th for adoption of the plan. So that's the tentative schedule that they've laid out for adoption of the plan.
Have we found out from the DOT yet whether or not we can use the DOT right-of-way for detention? I mean, I thought that was a done deal, and now it seems like it's just kind of dragging on. Is there somebody we need to go down there and talk to about this?
Yep. Brian Hemeseth, city engineer. Yeah, we ran an agreement through city council between the DOT and the city for us to be able to use that right-of-way for detention. And right now we have an agreement, a professional services agreement with McClure, and they're working on a design right now. They just completed survey.
Cool.
So we're well down the road of getting that.
So Brian, has the DOT approved the agreement?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right.
Yep. And it's just a matter of
Great.
getting through their
Okay.
review process and that sort of
I
thing.
mean, we talked, that's key, otherwise the vacant land in this area is going to have to be used for detention, so there's not a lot you can do. So that was the key to allowing some flexibility.
Right.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, and I brought it up because I thought we had a workshop 4 months ago that got canceled because of COVID, and now we're doing all this additional work. So I was confused on if we were ready for a workshop 4 months ago or whenever it is, why is it now taking so long?
Well, there were a couple places in the schedule for touching base with council and Plan and Zoning Commission on the plan. So the one that we got eliminated was because of the COVID. So this one that we have scheduled up is, we did not do that one, so this is kind of the getting on with the plan.
So is the October 4th joint P&Z and City Council just West Des Moines?
Yes,
So Clive's having their own meeting as well?
that's as I understand it,
Okay,
correct.
great, thank you. Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. Are there any items that any council member would like to pull?
Ryan's got a question.
Well, I was going to say, before we
sign
proceed,
in.
we'll need to re-sign in to get
It's not in, 'cause I came late, I apologize.
No, that's fine.
And October 4th, it's going to be right after that Raccoon River Rally, which is going to be an unbelievable event down in West Des Moines. So make sure you put October 2nd Raccoon River Rally on your,
I told Catherine about the national dragon boat races that we used to have down
Yeah.
there. So she was intrigued by that whole notion.
That'd be
but
cool.
I think they were
back.
national dragon
back.
boat races.
really?
Yeah.
Well, these cardboard boats will be similar to dragon boats, no?
No, they'll be dragging on the bottom of the lake.
Sounds like it's going to be our water rescue, public safety people's full employment.
Exactly. Chief
People are-
Lou, be on standby.
Yeah. If you got us designing our own cardboard, chief, that's not a good thing.
They knew not to ask me to design anything, I'm just judging them, so.
Okay.
Okay.
We ready?
We still need Renee to push the sign-in button again.
I'm ornery, I'm causing all kinds of problems.
And now we have 5 members present.
Okay. So I thought maybe 1 or 2 council people wanted to pull something under the consent agenda. Is that right, or are we just all?
I think we're deferring on 4F.
F1 and 2.
F1
Okay.
and- one and
All right, otherwise I'll take a motion to approve them all then.
So moved.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
All right, I will, at the West Des Moines Historic Society's request, read the proclamation for the International Underground Railroad Month, September 2021, Whereas in recognition of West Des Moines as a powerful destination for authentic Underground Railroad history, and in commemoration of all those involved in the Underground Railroad, including West Des Moines courageous abolitionists, including James C. Jordan and wives Cynthia and Melinda Jordan, as well as James B. Houston and wife Nancy Hill Houston. Whereas in appreciation of the inspiring efforts of the people of West Des Moines who have committed themselves to document, share, and learn about the Underground Railroad through the Jordan House Museum and Houston Cemetery. Whereas the West Des Moines Historical Society acknowledges the significance of the Underground Railroad and all those involved for its contribution to the eradication of slavery in the United States and as a cornerstone for a more comprehensive civil rights movement that followed. Whereas International Underground Railroad Month provides an opportunity for worldwide open dialogue that illuminates the hopes that arise from freedom of all people. Now therefore, I, Stephen K. Gare, Mayor of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, do hereby proclaim September 1st through the 30th, 2021 as International Underground Railroad Month in West Des Moines and do commend this observance to all West Des Moines citizens. So we will happy to present this to you. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
So much.
Did you like a picture? Catherine, can you take a picture of it? Yeah. I think that they like that. Absolutely, you got to capture the moment.
You like pictures?
I love pictures. Of course. That's right. You got to contribute and add value somewhere, right?
Very nice, thank you. Thank you so much.
See?
You always have to look at when you're Renee.
Good job.
She's always getting your picture taken.
That's right. You guys always like it when it's all done and said, right? Said and done.
Some of us try to keep a low profile.
Oh, okay.
Some of us have bad hairdos.
That's a nice picture.
All right, item 5, old business, 5A, Pavilion Park, west of 9075 and 9076 Linda's Lane. Amend the Pavilion Park Plan Unit Development to designate Parcel E within the PUD for single-family development Pavilion Park LC. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, final adoption. There are no changes from the first reading.
Approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote. Don't go shy on me now.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, and ordinance number 2407 pertaining to plan unit development district regulations and guidelines.
Move approval of second reading.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
Move waiving the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
5B, Jordan Creek Business Park, north side of Village View Drive between South 60th Street and South 64th Street. Amend the Jordan Creek Business Park specific plan ordinance to designate and regulate high-density residential within development parcel C. Todd Reuter, and this also is an ordinance for the second reading. There are no changes from the first.
Move
Who's second of
consideration.
the, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, Trillian.
Move consideration of second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? Okay, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, and ordinance number 1712 and 2271 pertaining to plan unit development district regulations and guidelines.
Move approval of second reading.
Second.
All right, please vote. So since we have no negative votes tonight, Ryan, do we have to wait 2 more weeks to do the third reading?
Because we put it on the agenda as second reading only,
Okay,
we can't go above and beyond that.
all right.
Okay.
5 yes.
Okay. Item 5C, Amendment to City Code Title 6 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 9 Traffic Schedules, Section 5 No Parking Zones, 5th Street, Walnut Street to 45 feet south of Walnut Street, east and west side, city initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading. Final adoption, there are no changes from the first reading.
Move consideration of second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I'm just grateful this is getting addressed. I know a lot of residents had concerns down there. They've talked to us about this several times, and hopefully this is going to do the trick and make sure that people are safe down there. I hate to lose the additional parking, as we have a parking issue down there too, but
Safety
safety
is
comes
important.
first. Yep, yep.
Yeah, and I had a friend that took a picture of no parking by order of the mayor with the date highlighted out. And they said, was this like a permanent sign? I said, well, it sounds like maybe they can use it wherever they want, whenever they want. All right, please vote.
order.
Yeah, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending provisions pertaining to the traffic code relating to official traffic controls.
Move approval of second reading.
Better than the key to the city. Second.
All right, please vote. Yeah, I want to put one of those in my car and take it with me.
Yeah, forget the key to the city, take a parking spot, parking sign.
5 yes.
Move waiving the third reading and adopting final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
Item 5D, issuance of $20,395,000 of general obligation urban renewal bonds, Series 2021B, city initiated. We have two resolutions which we can take together.
Move both resolutions.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
Item 5E, issuance of $2,990,000 of general obligation urban renewal bonds, Series 2021C, city initiated. These, we also have two resolutions which we can take together.
Move approval of both resolutions.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
All right, item 6, public hearings. The council's being asked to continue item 6A to the October 4, 2021 city council agenda.
Move continuation.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
6B, this is the time and place for a public hearing to consider infrastructure agreement initiated by Jordan Ridge LLC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
August 27th, 2021 in the Des Moines Register.
Do we have any written comments?
None, Your Honor.
All right, now would be the time for anyone in the audience, and I'll first ask for anyone physically present here in the council chambers that wants to address the council on item 6B. Okay, seeing no one, is there anyone on the call that wants to address the city council on item 6B?
You got to hit, what is it, *6 to unmute?
Okay, hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We have a resolution to approve the agreement, and there are no outstanding issues, and it came through Finance and Administration Council Committee.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote. I want to ask, these mics sound a lot better than what we had before. It is a lot better to hear out there, because we had concerns about that, so.
I love these. Love it.
Joe, we'll give you the rest of the night off.
Love it.
Starting at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, thanks for the improvement,
I just
yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
5 yes.
Item 6C, Digital Enterprise Single Family Drop Conduit Installation Network, Section 2 and Section 3, city initiated. We have two resolutions. Oh, sorry. This is the time and place for a public hearing to consider Digital Enterprise Single Family Drop Conduit Installation Network, Section 2 and 3, initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
August 20th, 2021 in the Des Moines Register.
Have you received any written comments?
None, Your Honor.
All right, now would be the time for anyone in the audience who'd like to address the city council on item 6C, and I'll start with anybody physically present in the council chambers first. All right, seeing no one, is there anyone on the call that would like to address the council on item 6C? Okay, hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We have a resolution to approve the plans and specifications, a motion to receive and file a report of bids, and a resolution to reject all the bids based on the low bid. The staff wants to look at options for rebidding the work at a later date or revising the scope of work.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments?
You know, I do want to say, just because this is dealing with this project, you know, we have really harped on staff, and staff has harped on the contractors that we've hired to go in and do this work, to lay this conduit. And, you know, they're disturbing the parking area right now. This one is going to end up being people's actual lawns. There's going to be a lot more utilities and different things through people's lawns, dog fences, and just all kinds of stuff. And but we've been harping on people for the contractor to really do a good job of restoring the ground back to the way that it was before. We have had some issues where people are starting to contact us that are having some issues with their restoration of the parking in front of their house. And I want to thank staff. I want to thank Brian Hemeseth and his staff, and I know Jamie's been a part of this as well. And, you know, I've sent the people, I know we have a hotline that you go through, but people are emailing us anyway. And they've dealt with this. They're sending people out to take a look at the ground that hasn't been restored properly. And, you know, I just really appreciate all the work that they're doing, and just continue to harp on this, that whoever we hire to do this job, they have got to be told that, you know, this is really sensitive. These are people's properties. You got to put the ground back the way that it was. You can't just put it back, leave ruts in there, or put some grass seed that's not going to grow on top of dry dirt. It just doesn't work. And I think based on the cases that we've had so far, for the most part, they're doing a good job, but we just need to continue to harp on that, because that's going to be a big issue, so.
Yeah, and I had a call today from a lady on 900 block of 19th that
Yes.
had that exact same
Yep.
scenario Russ just described. So Brian, if you could, I didn't have a chance to talk to you prior, but if you could
I sent
follow
an
up with
email.
900 block of 19th.
Yep, we're on. I sent an email about it.
All right.
And I guess my only question is the impact on the timing of the service. Obviously, if we don't get the conduit into their house, they can't get fiber. So is this going to be a huge delay, Brian, in House's opportunity to actually use the service?
Brian Hemeseth, city engineer. We don't anticipate any huge delays because of this.
Okay.
We're trying to stay out ahead of everything with all of our bidding of projects. So there could be some delays, but until we have it figured out how we're going to get these prices down a little bit, we'll
Right.
it can be up in the air. But we're working hard to get these things done as quickly as we can.
Brian, do you have a feel as to why we only had, if I'm reading this, excuse me, I'm reading it sideways on my iPad, but it looks like we had 2 bidders on this. Do you have any idea why only 2?
Yeah.
Because of the timing of it, the time of year?
There's a lot of hand holding with it. It's a very, very big project. So we're looking at maybe, the first one we had was much cheaper, and there was more bids. It was because it was a lot smaller. It was only about 300 drops. This is significantly larger. So we're going to take a look at a lot of different alternatives to try to get the prices down a little bit, but we don't want to sacrifice any of the personal touches that we're doing on every one of these properties, because we want to make sure that people know what they're getting, and they're talked through every step of the way. So we can't sacrifice that.
Right.
No, and we've had remarkably few complaints out of you think of the properties
absolutely.
we've impacted.
Right.
The other nice thing is you recall that this was the #1 request from our residents in the survey. So
Right.
it's something they want. So I think they have even more patience because it's something that they've been asking for.
Right, and we are getting a lot of patient people out there. There's, and there are areas that do need a lot of work, and we're holding the contractor's feet to the fire on
Yeah,
those.
that's great.
Okay.
Brian,
I really appreciate that.
why was it such a big area compared to the other?
Sure, the first portion, we had a smaller area that we had to get done contractually to meet what the contract said with Google Fiber. So we were trying to get that done and make sure we met that requirement. Everything else is more of a, we don't have a contractual obligation to get those done as quickly. So that's kind of why that first one was done first. So we met that contractual obligation. These are just, we want to get them out there so that people can get connected quicker. So
why not make this area, why, I guess if we didn't have a hard deadline we were trying to meet by the contract, why is it so much bigger then? Why not take 2 or 3 chunks out of this instead of one big chunk?
Yeah, we had a huge demand. There's 16, 17,000 people signed up for this
Right.
now. So we wanted to get as many as we could into a project and keep it. We thought it would be around $2 million, which is a manageable size project. It came in on considerably higher. So yeah, we're just going to reevaluate and try to knock that down.
All right.
Brian, are we having we had one gentleman that was complaining about having the tube sticking up in the ground and no node or whatever the term is for that
Yeah,
box.
vaults, yeah.
Yeah. Are we having some supply chain issues with that, or are those coming in soon, or?
That's gotten considerably better, but there's still, with anything, in every industry, we're having supply chain issues. But
Okay.
we have received a lot of those vaults that the city actually did a contract on back in, gosh, a long time ago.
Okay.
We're starting to get those in, and we've changed up how we're doing some of these other contracts to kind of put the onus on the contractor. We never expected, these kind of issues, supply chain issues, so.
Right, okay.
it's just-
Well, thanks for staying on top
Yeah.
of this between you and Jamie and others. I really appreciate it.
And I'd just like to say, and I really appreciate the mayor acknowledging that we've had remarkably few complaints. And as I knock on doors, I'm going to tell you, more people are saying thank you and appreciative of what we're doing, knowing that it's a huge project than not. So when I ask, what are your thoughts on that? And maybe I'm going to never know what they're going to say. More thank you, leading the way. We appreciate what you all are doing than anything else.
Yeah.
We appreciate that as staff. Those words are going to help push, this is a lot of work for our staff to do this, and pushing this across the finish line, those kind of things help. So if you hear the good things, we like to hear
Yeah,
those too.
and maybe I should,
I've
for the
had the
one
same-
gentleman said, long overdue.
Great,
Yeah,
that's
I've
awesome.
had the exact same
Heard that from a lot of
experience
people.
and reported that as well. I mean, if I'm hitting 10 doors, I'm having probably 8 of them, or 9 of them that are saying, keep pushing forward, thanks for your leadership, and don't go back now, keep going.
That's great. That's
So-
great. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to call that to your attention, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brian.
You bet.
All right, we can vote on 6C, 1, 2, and 3.
Mayor, I'll just say I'm abstaining from this as I have all these. So just as an
Okay.
indication of my silence, and I'll abstain. Thank you.
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
6D, this is the time and place for a public hearing to consider Holiday Park baseball improvements, Phase 6A, maintenance building renovation initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
August 27th, 2021, in the Des Moines Register.
Have you received any written comments?
None, Your Honor.
All right, now's the time for anyone in the audience who'd like to address the city council on item 6D, and I'll first start with anyone that's physically present in the council chambers. Okay, seeing no one, is there anyone on the call that would like to address the council on item 6D? Okay, hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We have a resolution to approve the plans and specifications, a motion to receive and file a report of bids, and a motion to defer the award of the contract to the September 2021 City Council agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
Item 7, new business. 7A, Browns Woods Estate, Plat 2, generally located at the intersection of Southeast 5th Street and Southeast Walnut Woods Drive. Approval of final plat to create 21 lots for single-family development and 2 street lots, Ventura Homes by Stephen R. Grubb 1 LLC. It's a resolution to approve and release the final plat, and there are no outstanding issues.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
7B, Della Vita, Plat 3, northwest corner of 88th Street and EP True Parkway. Approval of final plat to create 29 lots for single-family development, 1 outlot, and 3 street lots, Della Vita LLC. It's a resolution to approve and release the final plat, and there are no outstanding issues.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
7C, Della Vita, Plat 4, northwest corner of 88th Street and EP True Parkway. Approval of final plat to create 32 lots for single-family development and 3 street lots, Della Vita LLC. This is a resolution to approve and release the final plat. There are no outstanding issues.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I think anytime we're extending EP True Parkway farther than 88th Street, it comes closer to that eventual time when we connect all the way over to Grand Prairie Parkway, just to give folks another east-west thoroughfare in West Des Moines. So this will continue that movement, and that's exciting.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
7D, Ginger East Plat 1, east of Veterans Parkway and southeast Moffett Lake Road. Approval of final plat to create 2 lots for industrial development, 1 outlot and 1 street lot. Microsoft Corporations, it's a resolution to approve and release the final plat, and there are no outstanding issues.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
7E, West Lakes Office Park Plat 15, southwest corner of University Avenue and 71st Street. Approval of final plat to create 2 lots for commercial development, Forright LC and West Lakes Commercial LLC. It's a resolution to approve and release the final plat, and there are no outstanding issues.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
7F, Woodland Estates Plat 1, northeast corner of South Kingswood Court and Stagecoach Drive. Approval of a preliminary plat to create 22 lots for single-family residential development, 1 outlot for future development, and 1 street lot, Silo 9 LLC. This is a resolution to approve the preliminary plat, and there are no outstanding issues.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes.
7G, Platinum Point Townhomes, southwest corner of Bridgewood Boulevard and South 88th Street. Approval of a site plan to construct 66 attached townhomes. Hale Development Company, LLC. This is a resolution to approve the site plan, and there are no outstanding issues.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm just, we had development planning this morning. We had a number of items that included multi-residential, single-family residential, and obviously the last handful of items here, there's a lot of residential rooftops coming online here, and it's great to see the growth. I'm curious, do we, I don't know if we actively track, and I'm sure there's data available, but just how many rooftops we have in the pipeline and how many we've, built, or not we, but that folks in the community have built over the last, say, decade, just to see what the trajectory is, because it's quite impressive as I, look, when I moved back here a decade ago, trying to find a home, and now and I know it's still difficult to find a home, but it's incredible to see all these rooftops going.
Yeah.
It is. It's amazing. I'm just
Incredible
grateful that
growth,
we're
yeah.
still ahead of Ankeny in population, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that information's available, and it might be good to share it with the
would I-
development planning
We could get
committee.
that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate that, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it went through the committee, then we all would get the same information, because I think it'd be good to be able to share in the right groups. All right, please vote.
I know Rod's report every month is always helpful,
Right.
but it's not for future stuff as well. That's just
Well,
for,
and frankly, it's nice to see so many single-family residential homes coming online, too. I think we need a lot more of that, so.
5 yes.
7H Maple Grove Church Shelter, 9155 Ashworth Road. Approval of a minor modification level 2 to allow an open-air shelter to be relocated on the site. Ron Sweeney, it's a resolution to approve the minor modification. That's essentially allowing the church to build the shelter back where it originally was when it got relocated for the improvements to Ashworth Road.
Move approval of the minor mod.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Question. So are they moving, or is this gone and they're building a new one? Because I remember that thing being out there, and obviously I've been out there for a while, but. Because they're saying to relocate. So to me, that means that it's there and they're just moving it.
Linda Schimmel, Development Coordinator. So the original shelter was removed as part of the widening and then the construction of the new church. What they would like to do is reconstruct it in the same spot. So it's new materials, new finishes, but it was basically placed in the same spot.
Okay, so it is going in the same spot. Okay,
Right.
so that's why it's a minor mod, because that was my concern, that if it's already out there and they're just moving it to a new spot, then why would it warrant a minor mod, which they're only allowed so many, but I guess if they're building a new, so I guess I'm a little confused as to why they're talking, why it's worded that it's relocated on site. Should be reconstructed on site, I guess, but
Okay?
And it was, the cause was the widening of Ashworth, right?
Correct.
You mentioned the reconstruction of the church. I want to make sure it's clear that it had to be moved because of the Ashworth Road improvements.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So this was actually formerly behind the original church.
Yeah.
And so the original church was moved, and then this shelter had to be removed as part of that project, which was generated by the widening of Ashworth Road.
So the church had to be moved because of Ashworth? Okay.
And this was in its way to move the church.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Got
Okay.
it. All right, please
Thank you.
vote.
Tell you, we in West Des Moines know how to move a church, that is for sure.
We can move
Barns,
anything.
churches.
Houses
Please don't bring up the barn.
with a brand-new house built in that
Yeah.
spot.
7I Railroad Park Restrooms, 425 Railroad Place, approval of Level 2 minor modification to allow construction of a new restroom facility, City of West Des Moines. Resolution to approve the minor modification. And I think we've had both Matt and Russ mention tonight that they're going to run it through this committee to see if there's any concerns so we can keep it moving.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, please vote.
And Mayor, just as clarification, when it goes through that committee, if there's no issues, there's no reason to bring it back to development plan. I mean, it'd be a streamlined process.
I
Okay.
agree.
Agreed.
Because this has been, and I know we got the moratorium, but this has been
It's long.
something that we have wanted for a long time, and it is, I can't imagine the committee would have issues with it. I hope they don't, because it's certainly needed, and I fully support it.
Well, and how can not it improve the kaibos that are there now?
Right.
All
It's
right,
long.
And you should see the renderings, very beautiful
all right.
bathrooms, if I
So,
might say.
not so subtle message to the committee, please let this come through. All right, please vote.
Major enhancement.
Yeah.
5 yes.
Okay, item 8, there's no items to receive, file, and/or refer. Item 9, other matters. Are there any other matters that any council member wants to raise tonight?
Just want to wish yourself and Councilwoman Hardman a happy belated birthday now to both of you, 21 and 22 to the mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Got that right?
Item 10, we will adjourn the city council meeting for an executive session discussion on pending or threatened litigation. Ryan, are we going to the teamwork?
Yeah, we got the
Yeah,
workshop.
but we will do the
Well,
workshop
it's not
sorry.
listed
in
that
here
way.
first.
All right, so,
need the workshop.
yeah, scratch